Welcome back to the channel Gadgets for Gentlemen. In this video I'm going to do an update of the watch that I reviewed or unboxed about a week ago. This is the Citizen EO2020-08E with the caliber E168. I unboxed this watch and I was planning to take it with me on my trip to Spain. I just got back. And last minute I decided not to take this watch with me on my trip because I had second thoughts. I had some reservations about this particular watch, and therefore I decided not to put this watch on the wrist for my trip in case I might damage it during my holidays. So I decided to just leave it in my watch case, and with me I brought the kind of bigger brother. It's not exactly the bigger brother, it's a bit of a different watch, but I brought with me the Citizen NY0040-09E. Originally it comes on a very similar strap that we can see here. This is the original strap, and here we have the reference that I just mentioned with the updated caliber, which means this movement allows for not just hand winding but also hacking. I put it on a NATO strap. On my trip I brought just a bunch of colors for NATOs, so for every day, for different outfits. I had a different look, but this is I just call it the bigger brother. This is automatic watch, a bit bigger. I think it's 41, almost 42 millimeters. And wearing this watch during my trip, I kind of like reappreciated everything about the 0040. Let me just abbreviate this watch to that reference. And I had a closer re-elevation of this Citizen 37mm diver. In this video I want to update my decision making. I decided to return this watch. For you that might not be the case, because this is an excellent watch. It is marketed, as we know, for the ladies, but I think it is very unisex and versatile. So if you like a smaller size watch, don't care about the marketing towards the ladies, because if you're a man with a small wrist, then definitely this would also look fantastic, especially in this black color configuration or the blue one. I think the gray with the pink strap and gold, I think maybe that's a bit too feminine. So in this video what I want to do is give you an update about my thoughts and feelings about this watch, a little bit in relation to the watch here on the left, which is a bit of the benchmark for this video. And I will include two more things that I didn't do in the first video. So if you haven't seen the first video, maybe just hit the pause button on this video and first check out my first video. What I will do in this video, I will share my thoughts and feelings, but I will also throw in a Lume shot, and I will throw in a shot of what this watch looks like on a female wrist, on the lady's wrist. I hope you will enjoy this video. For today's video I am wearing one of my favorite watches of all time, automatic diver, Omega Seamaster Professional Diver 300 meters. And I didn't take this one on my trip. I just brought the Citizen, and seeing this watch when I got back made me very happy. So here we have it on the metal bracelet. For your reference, I have small wrists, 6.3 inches circumference. Now let me go over my notes. Maybe one step back. What do we have here? We have here a beautiful dive watch with the Eco Drive. The Eco Drive, it will charge the movement by both natural light and artificial light. The movement is super accurate, plus minus 15 seconds per month. So this is not as precise as your iPhone, but or Apple Watch, but it comes very close. When the movement is fully charged, which only takes 11 hours on a sunny day in the summer, then the movement will tick for 6 months. So that's really excellent. As you can see here, we have a date view at the 4 o'clock position. What really for me is amazing is the amount of detail. Here in the very tip of the date wheel, you can see that there is Lume applied. This little white piece on the outer side has Lume applied. So the date itself is not visible in the dark, but that 4 o'clock hour marker, that little rectangle, is Lume, or is filled with luminescent material. So that will light up in the dark. Yeah, that's for now just a little information about the 37. Here on the left, which is again my benchmark for this video, is the 0040, which has an automatic movement, the new movement EO2020-08E, which allows for hand winding and hacking, -20 to +40 seconds a day. So if you're unlucky, this movement cannot be very accurate, especially compared to its smaller brother. But in my experience, I did not really measure, but I didn't feel like I'm losing a lot of time. So this is not scientific. I didn't measure the accuracy, but just from a day-to-day use, wearing this watch for over a week, I didn't notice any major significant changes in terms of timekeeping. So maybe I'm lucky with this watch that it is accurate. 42 hours power reserve, so when fully charged, 42 hours of that beautiful sweeping second hand. What do I dislike about the new 37 millimeters Citizen here on the right? I think I dislike the date location at the 4 o'clock. I think just like the 0040 here on the left, a date view at the 3 o'clock position, I think would have looked better. That's very subjective. I think the watch would also look very cool if there was no date window at all. So when this was just a watch, no date, just hour markers, I think it would look very handsome. The size, I think this is a perfect size for small wrists. My wrist 6.3. For me, it felt a little bit on the smaller end of the spectrum. So for me, this is not my perfect size, 36 or 37 mil. I think the sweet spot would be 39 or 40 millimeters. So the ideal watch would be, for me, personally, with my wrist size, between the sizes of these two watches. So a 39 millimeter or even a 40 millimeter watch. And I hope Citizen will produce such a watch. I think there is a big demand nowadays for watches that are a bit smaller than this Omega or the Tudor Pelagos. And there's more demand for smaller cases, such as the Tudor Black Bay 54 and also the Tudor Black Bay 58 with a 39 millimeter diameter. What I really do like about this new 37 mil is the accuracy. It's just so hard to beat. Basically, you never notice being too late, because that plus minus 15 seconds a month, that's just crazy. It's really fantastic. However, again, my taste goes towards the watch here on the left. There's just something about that automatic movement. There's just something about a second hand that is just flowing. It might not be as accurate as the watch here on the right, but I like flowing better compared to this ticking of the second hand. That's the only downside, I think, of that Eco Drive, is the fact that it's not automatic. Other than accuracy, we also have power reserve. Power reserve here on the right is just so hard to beat with a 6-month battery life. It's just crazy. Here on the left we have 42 hours of power reserve. So yeah, if you don't want to wind your watch, if you don't wear it for some while, then here the watch on the right is just perfect, because you don't need to do the time setting because it is accurate, and you don't need to charge the watch because if you charge it one full day in the summer, then the watch is charged for 6 months to come. So really fantastic. In terms of the design, I prefer the design of the watch here on the left. As a tool watch, I think as a tool watch, it looks very toolish, with quite a thick bezel, with very easy to grip teeth here on the bezel. I just really love it. If we look here on the right, the bezel, the teeth on the bezel, as you can see, are much less prominent and much less easy to operate. So therefore, I really love the watch here on the left. Also in terms of design, I must say, I prefer the look of the watch on the left in terms of the hour markers, the hand set. One of my viewers was so kind to point out that the handset changed quite a bit. I did not really notice, but for example here on the left we can see that the second hand has a counterbalance of this lollipop, which I just really love. The second hand here on the right, the arrow, as you can see, has no counterbalance of lollipop. That's just a personal preference. Other than that, I think the hands are somewhat similar, especially the hour hand looks quite similar. The minute hand does seem to differ quite a bit, as you can see here with that orange. I like the red accents on the watch here on the left. We have that triangle of the Promaster logo, the 200 meters in red, giving it just a little bit of color. And of course here with the orange minute hand we also have a bit of color. Then what I also noticed is that the font on the bezel is a bit different. So the numbers that we are seeing here, the 10, 20, 30 and so on, they are bigger, but also they look like to be from a different font. And I prefer the one here on the left. On the right it's not bad, but I prefer the one here on the left. And then finally, what I really love about this bezel insert is that triangle here at the top. The triangle that in this case unfortunately does not line up perfectly. As you can see, it's just a little bit off to the left, which I really hate. Otherwise I think it's a near perfect watch for the money, but this not alignment of the triangle at the 12 o'clock really annoys me, also during this trip. But what I wanted to point out, I think this bezel does align. So I would very much recommend, if you buy left or right or any other dive watch, just to make sure that the bezel is properly aligned. This one isn't. But the triangle here at the 12 o'clock, I really love it. It's just so beautiful, very pointy. And I don't know why Citizen didn't go for like that whole triangle look. As you can see here, that point is cut off, which I don't like. I prefer a very pointy one. So in terms of design, I must say I prefer the old one. And but here on the right it is very pretty, and I think the one on the right is more versatile for example the office. It looks less too-tastic, it is thinner, The layout just looks a bit friendlier, in my opinion. And also the bezel doesn't look as aggressive as the one on the left. For an office look, probably just throw it on a beautiful 18mm leather distressed watch strap. For example, collar wrap. I think for office it will look better than this polyurethane strap. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a clip where I play with the bezel, and you can hear the bezel action. For a dive watch, personally, the bezel means a whole lot to me. Therefore, again, my love goes out to the one on the left, because a bezel just as you can hear, a bezel just needs to be easy to grip. With the Omega, it's not the easiest with this bezel, but it needs to work properly. It needs to make a nice sound. I will include a video in here where I argue that the one on the left just has a easier way to function the bezel compared to the one on the right. So in terms of if you plan to use the dive bezel, I would very much recommend going for a bigger one with a more easy to grip bezel with better grooves. And the one on the right, it's not bad, but I think the one on the left is so much better and easier and so much fun to use. Also, I will throw in a Lume shot. I think the Lume of these watches is similar, so I would say that that's about the same, and it's just fantastic. It's just a great Lume. I will also throw in a shot of a lady wearing the watch on the wrist, and this is quite funny. I asked the lady in person, what size and what design do you favor for your wrist? Her wrist is smaller than mine, and you decide now, give me the right answer. Does she prefer the new 37mm Citizen that is marketed towards the ladies, or does she prefer the older 0040 that is not marketed specifically towards the ladies? And I need an answer right now. So this lady, she very much preferred the 0040. The bezel action, the way it looks on her wrist, the design. So that's quite funny that not everything is what it seems, that the smaller watch advocated or marketed towards the ladies, ladies might actually love the original, the bigger version. So I hope this just pretty much sums it up. I'm going to return this beautiful new watch, and I will keep wearing this one. One more thing, I also got a comment about the mineral crystal on these dive watches. Thanks for responding to the video. One of my commenters, he said that a mineral crystal is just better for diving purposes, that if you go deep underwater, the mineral crystal can naturally expand, while a sapphire crystal might break. So therefore, I prefer a sapphire crystal because I don't dive, and for an office environment, these watches can scratch. So still, I would very much recommend a sapphire crystal. If you plan on using this watch as a dive watch, then, according to one of the commenters, having a mineral crystal might be superior. Yeah, that sums it up, I think. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful in your decision making, whether you should get this watch or maybe the bigger version. I look one more time at my notes. I see price. Price is about the same. I bought this watch here on the right for 209 euros. The watch here on the left can be purchased for 192 euros, around 200 euros right or left. Price is very similar, and that should not really much be a big difference. I think you should go for look. I think you should go for what's important for you in terms of how are you going to use this watch. Are you going to use a lot of bezel action? I think you should go with the left. Are you going for a bit more of a versatile, understated look? You want that thin profile. If you want that short lock-to-lock distance, a thin case, a small diameter, then this is the one. You don't have to bother about hand winding. You don't have to bother about time setting because it's so accurate. But if you're like me, if you truly want to play a lot with that dive bezel for timers, if you prefer an automatic movement just for the whole visual aspect of it, then this is the better watch in my opinion. I also prefer just the layout of how everything looks. It's just a bit more, I don't know, it's a bit more romantic to me. That glossy black dial, it's just for me fantastic. The watch here on the right with a more of a matte dial and also a bit of more brushed sides. For me, it's nice, but I prefer the glossy look of the Citizen on the left and a bit of that polished parts. Now, I really hope that Citizen will make something, will produce something that fits right between these two watches, which would be a 39 or 40 mil automatic or eco drive. I prefer automatic watch that will, I think, make so many people very happy. Maybe with a sapphire crystal, I would really love it. With hacking, hand winding, a great bezel, hopefully with a good alignment, quality control. So that's it. If there are any questions, feel free to leave me a comment. If I know the answer, I will write back. If not, then maybe someone else will be able to help you with your question. And I hope this video was helpful to you. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and see you soon.